guys, it's Liz here with another video for you, and today I'm going to be showing you how to build an apex with this dip powder mini kit from Beetles Gel Polish. They sent this over to me and they wanted me to do this video for them, and I haven't done an apex video in a while, so I figured I would do this because I do love the Beetles products. I've got a lot of their stuff and I really like a lot of their stuff. But before we get into that, I wanted to go over a little bit about what an apex is and why you want to build an apex. Like for short nails, why do you need that? Because my nails are shorter, but even on short nails, there's a couple of reasons why you want to build your dip powder this way. The first reason is it helps build strength on your stress point of your nail. So if you bend your nail, you'll see how it kind of gets white right there. That is the stress point of my nail. So if I hit that or break it, it is going to tend to break around that stress point. We definitely don't want that because that would really hurt. That is definitely in my nail bed. And I have, you'll see like a couple of my nails have broken over here, and they have broken really short because yeah, I took all my stuff off and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. So yeah, so that is really important for that way. The other reason why you want to do, whenever you build your dip powder, why you want to do this is so it doesn't get too bulky on the edges of your nails, and it just creates a really nice, pretty nail. So before let me show you exactly. So this is the steps, and I'm sure you've seen something like this. If you've looked up anything about Apex before, you've kind of seen this picture or a picture that looks like this. So this is kind of the progression of how you want to build your dip powder whenever you are building your apex. And this again helps build that powder in that stress point, because you really want it to be more and start in the middle and then slowly build out around your nail. So most of your product is going to be right in the center of that nail and then fan out from that. So whenever you get done with this, it's going to create a really nice thin sidewall, and it will create a thin area right around your cuticle as well, so you don't have a lot of product right at the cuticle. Now if you were to just do this is 5 dips of powder using that apex method. This is just 4 dips of powder just straight on the nail, and you can tell that the nail is wider when you don't use that apex method, so because it is building up on the side walls a lot more. So instead of having those soft edges, you have really clunky side walls and edges. So that it just makes for a lot prettier nail. Of course, if you are using a colored dip powder, you probably don't want such a soft color at the cuticle. So if you want a little bit more color, what I do whenever I'm using apex method to create, or using this apex method when I'm using color, is sometimes I will just start, instead of starting with this one, I'll start with a full set of color all over my nail, or maybe not even completely covering my nail. It might be more of a number 4 right here, not touching my cuticle, and then I'll go through the progression, and that will create a nail that's more like this. So you still have those thinner side walls. Oh, sorry, this one. So you'll still have those thinner sidewalls. It won't be quite as thick, but it's more of a full coverage nail. So now that we know what an apex is and what we're doing, I'm going to get into this dip powder kit. So this is great. This is a great kit if you like to use gel polishes, because it will help create that strength that you need for your nails, and then you can just refill it every time. So it comes with the directions. It also comes with some nail tips. You get a nice, I love their washable files. They're really nice. So and it is washable. You can just I wash mine with soap and water, maybe scrub it a little bit with a nail brush, and it's good as new to use again. I also like to kind of spray mine with a little bit of alcohol to disinfect it. It comes with this nice little cuticle pusher. These are really good for making sure that if you get any powder around your cuticle line, to kind of clean that up. Oh, well, it did come with an extra brush, but this one looks like it's messed up. That's a bummer. Oh, well, we do have another one in here as well, so that one looks nice. So that's good. This is a little French dip tray. It's kind of not the best plastic, but you know, it's kind of a little extra that you may or may not want to use. Instead of dipping, you could always, you know, pour over using the tray, or you can pour a little bit into the tray and then dip in that way. And then we have this little sponge, which, oh, okay, that they're using a sponge instead of a brush to get the extra dip powder off. Okay, interesting. All right, so we will so this should be everything that you need to create this. You can use tips. I don't usually use tips like this, but they do have directions for that in your nail kit if you want to use those. That's a nice little extra. It looks like they go from 0 to 9. Yeah. All right, and then the liquids that they have is a 2-in-1 base coat, top coat, and then an activator. And then they have some clear dip powder. And this is 0.42 ounces, so not quite a half an ounce of clear. I don't know that I've used their clear, so I'm not really sure how good it is. Like if you could use it on top of some of your glitters or whatever, if it would work really well for that. But I guess we're about to find out how good it is. So before you do any of this, you want to prep your nails. So I have a separate video for that. If you don't know how to prep your nails, I would suggest that you start there at that video and then meet me back over here to finish this video up. All right, so I did break this wrist and my elbow, so I'm still kind of having trouble like turning my hand. We might just do my thumb for this video. So another thing that you can do, if you can use dip powder because my nail is a little bit wonky at the end. I didn't want to trim it down though. So I was going to use the dip powder to extend my nails. So all you need is some little nail forms like this or similar to this. They've got all different types of nail forms. They have these little butterfly looking nail forms. I have not even used those yet, so I don't know how to quite use those. They also have these more square type nail forms. I really don't know that it matters what kind of nail forms that you use, but these are, I'm just going to use these for this video. So this should work out fine for this. I want to kind of just square off my nail a little bit is all I'm looking to do. Just square it off a little bit. fit that under there. All right, my nail has been prepped and primed and it's ready to go. So another thing that you can also do is start wherever your stress is. I have seen people start with like a strip of powder right along that edge. If you have, you kind of do this method and find that you're still having problems with it breaking in that area, that's another thing that you can try. But since I am just doing this for the Apex method, I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to pour over my powder. All right, so I'm going to give that a little bit to kind of set up. If it's not kind of connected right there between the sticker and your nail, don't worry about that right now. Right now we're just trying to kind of build up that powder right there. All right, so after you've let it sit for a little bit and let it dry, then you can use your sponge to dust off the extra powder. I got something on that side, made it wet. All right, so the sponge is a little different. I usually use like a brush like this or a toothbrush like this to dust mine off, but the sponge works. All right, so the second dip is going to be a little bit outside of that one. Now with this Apex method, it really depends on the shape of your nail as well as to where that apex is going to be. If your nail is a little bit longer, or if you have almond shaped nails, then that apex may be a little bit further back. That's why it's good to kind of push on your nail and kind of see, based on the length of your nail and the shape of your nail, where that stress is for your nail, and to kind of put your apex or the bulk of your product where that stress is on your nail. All right, so once you've given that a little bit of time to dry, and you're just gonna dust it off. And again, the next layer. And each layer, you want to make sure that you're using very thin amount of your liquid. You don't need a whole lot of liquid with this. You want just a thin layer of liquid. And these powders are really nice and thin. I also wipe my brush, especially in between like layers that I, layering the powder. I always wipe off my brush on a lint-free cloth as well, so that you're not contaminating your bottle. Especially if it's a 2-in-1 like this, you definitely don't want to contaminate your top coat with dip powder. Then you're not going to get a good top coat on that. All right, so we're going to let that dry. pretty much my last dip. So with your last dip, you want to make sure that you get as close to that cuticle as possible without flooding your cuticle with liquid. So you kind of start a little ways away from it and then push it back towards that cuticle. I also like to kind of take it right on the edge like this and slowly just drag it along this at the edge of my cuticle that way. I feel like I mess up less when I do it that way than pushing it back sometimes. And I get like kind of a more nice even edge as well along that cuticle line. Looks like I got some dust or something in the middle of that there. Dang it. I really don't need it out that far, but just trying to get that clear. It's pretty clear. It's got some bubbles in there, but alright, since that was that last dip, I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. All right, so I'm just gonna give that a minute to get some powder right there. I'm gonna give that a minute to dry, and then we're gonna activate it. All right, so now that it is dry, if you'd like to get one more all the way across, you can kind of check it to see if your nail looks good, or if you feel like you might need another coat, full coat of dip powder. But I'm thinking that looks pretty good. It's hard for me to turn my hand so you can really see. I do it like this, so you can kind of see that I've got most of my product right in here, and then it does kind of get a little bit thinner as it moves towards the free edge of the nail, and that's kind of what you want as well, so that it's not too thick over here. All right, so when you activate it, you do want to activate not only the top of this, but you also want to flip it over and activate the bottom side as well to make sure that that extension gets activated all the way through. I use a good bit of activator. My activator usually does not last as long as my other liquids because I use a lot of activator to make sure that it gets activated completely through. All right, so now we're gonna have to wait for that to dry. All right, so once that is completely dry, it will make kind of like a clicking noise, and you'll know it's strong enough for you to start filing. So I'm just gonna file off the edges of that extension so that the edges are nice and straight. I really wasn't looking to lengthen it too much. I really just wanted to kind of square it off a little bit. All right, so So on the underside, you can see how it's thinner on the edges of the nail. Get this stuff off. Then you'll be able to see how the edges are thinner. I may need to file a little bit on this side to thin it out a little bit, because this side is a lot thinner. So what I do is I'll kind of, so sometimes, especially with the clear powder, it's hard to see that, like if you have any bumps or anything. So what I do is I'll feel around with my finger to see if I have any bumps that need to be filed out, and I can usually feel them a little bit better with my finger, and I can kind of feel where this needs. So I'll go just kind of down the side like that, and that looks a lot better just with a little bit of filing over on that side. Okay, so the rest of it really just needs to be buffed. So you can do that with this 180 grit just by filing a little bit, just to kind of take off the grittiness of that, the top layer of that dip powder. Or I love these little orange, you can get them in a pack of 50. That you usually can get a good amount of these. I think this is the same amount. It's the 180, but it just it seems like it gets a little easier to get it smooth without taking off so much of the powder. You don't want to take off any of, the bulk. The whole reason that you're doing this is to create some strength. So we don't want to take a whole lot of that strength out. We're just trying to kind of buff that smooth. Okay, so once you get it smooth, dust it off again, and then you're going to use your activator again. You can use a little bit more underneath or at the edge. Then if you do notice that anything is still needing some buffing or whatever, you can continue to buff or file as much as you need to. All right, so I'm just going to finish up the rest of my nails, and then I will meet you back over here. So I'm done with all of my nails. I did kind of a tapered square, kind of verging on kind of a ballerina type for short nail shape. And again, it's all, you can, from all angles, you should be able to see. My sidewalls are thinner, and so the apex of the nail, again, you should see the thicker part right around here in the middle of the nail. It's gonna, if you did it correctly, it's gonna get thinner as it moves back towards the cuticle line, and it should be kind of pretty straight, but it may or get a little bit thinner out towards the free edge. So that's, and it may look different on different nails depending how long that nail is or how small that nail is. So from here you can do your another coat or two coats of this as a top coat, but since my nails were wonky and I did my extension, they're looking kind of crazy right now. So you can just use some of their gel polish to cover that up and create your nail design from here. Now that you've strengthened your nails, now you can add some color with your Beetles polish. You can do all sorts of nail art. This is, it's 9 toxin free, low odor, safe for your skin. I believe they have, yep, they have the ingredients all right here, so you can check out if you are allergic to any of these ingredients. But yeah, I really like their gel polish. It also comes with the base gel, top gel, and a matte top coat. So this is those colors all swatched up. This is the Free Spirit collection. They sent it to me to try out, and I really like this collection because it's a good mix of the glitters and the solids, and it just seems like it will be great for any season. And they're just really gorgeous colors that seem to work really well together. So I decided to use these 3 colors for my mani. You want to make sure that you start with your base gel on the dip powder so that the color will stay on there. And I just did this matte, this simple matte nails with one glossy nail, just to kind of show you how easy it is. Like if you decide to change your mani, or if you decide to do something different to your nails, it's very easy to just take off that color. You just want to file that color down, back down to the dip powder. And I'm just using a regular file, so it did take me a little bit to get all of that color off. But if you use a nail drill, then that will cut down on the time it takes you to do this significantly. Or you can just do it while you're outside enjoying hopefully good weather, or watching your kids outside. But then you're just gonna take all of that dust off, clean all the dust off of your nail, and then you are ready for another mani. I really like this because I get bored with my nails very easily, so it's easy to change your nails when you use this dip powder first as your base. This one I just kind of did an ombre nail for my accent nail. And the last thing that I wanted to mention before I go is you can refill this. I refilled this a few times before I took it completely off. So refilling is just kind of the same thing as you saw me doing with the other one. You're just going to file off the color completely until you get to the clear dip powder. If you have any lifting, you also want to make sure that you file that off as well, which I didn't have much lifting as I thought I would, because usually dip powder does not stay very well on my natural nail. So I was very impressed with that. But if you do see any lifting, you want to just make sure that you file that off as well. Very carefully not to file into your natural nail. And then you're just going to do a full dip of that clear dip powder. And I'm kind of struggling knocking stuff over and stuff with this, but yeah, just a full dip, or 2 if you feel like you might need a little bit more strength, if you filed too much of the clear powder off, just to fill in where your natural nail is exposed. And then you're just going to activate and file and buff as you did whenever you first put it on your nail. So and that's pretty much it for the refill process. And like I said, I refilled a couple of times before I took it completely off, and I do have a video to show you. So I will link that video in the cards here if you're interested in that, or if you need that. But that's pretty much it for this video for this kit. I did like this kit. It's a great price for what it is, and it served its purpose, so I would definitely recommend it. So I will link that in the description if you are interested in that. And if there's anything that I didn't cover, or anything that you have any questions about that I didn't cover, just put that in the comments and I will answer any questions I can as soon as I can. Thank you. If you liked this video, make sure that you give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time.